Hi, this is Peter Godinez, your ambassador for public sector and community. And I have the wonderful privilege of being able to interview Will Berg from the Port of Hueneme. And so today we're going to find out a little about this interesting gentleman that I already know about, but it's actually got to come out of your mouth. So anyway, let's get down to business. Will Berg, thank you so much for the opportunity to be in front of you.
Well, thank you, Peter. I'm glad to be here.
So I know we have just a little bit of time and we want to get just the core of what you're doing, but tell us a little bit about your history. Start off maybe where you're born and where do you consider hometown for yourself?
Sure. For me, Peter, I'm a third-generation South Oxnard native. I attended McKenna Elementary, Haydock Junior High School, and Santa Clara. I attended Moorpark College. I was in the first graduating class at Moorpark College, and then from Moorpark, I went up to Chico State, where I applied for an international studies program and ended up spending 2 years in a Chinese university in Taiwan.
Wow, good experience.
I returned home, got my master's degree in comparative and international politics from the Monterey Institute of International Studies with a fluency in Mandarin. And then I got the volunteerism bug and I volunteered for the Peace Corps. And I went and I lived in Korea for 2 years down in the countryside at a provincial university teaching English majors how to teach English at a Korean university. It was a lot of fun. Returned home and I actually taught at Santa Clara High School for a year in the mid to late 70s. But then I was offered an opportunity to go to mainland China when the country was first beginning to open up. And those were pretty exciting days. I was a tour manager escorting and translating for American and Canadian groups traveling through China in the late 70s and early 80s. We were seeing China as she was just coming out from the Cultural Revolution, a country that had been traumatized through continuous revolution, and now they were being introduced to the West, and this was a lot of fun. I traveled throughout China for 6 years doing that. Following my stint in China, I joined a cruise line, and I was working on board a cruise ship as a shore excursion manager on board in such countries as Japan, Korea, China, Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and it was a wonderful job. 4 years I spent on board ship, and then got married, came home, and I joined such prestigious cruise lines as Princess, Seabourn, and Crystal Cruises. I was designing shore excursions for these cruise ships. So I made the shore excursion brochure, negotiated the contracts with the various tour operators, counting numbers, counting money, and giving my baby, my tours, over to a shore excursion manager on board ship to operate for us. My last position was with Princess Cruises, where I was the director of operations for Asia, India, and Africa. So anytime a ship would come into those regions, I would be in charge of all shoreside operations, whether it be meet and greet hotel operations or pre and post cruise packages, and of course all the shore excursions that the passengers went on. In 2000, I had the opportunity to come back to go to work for the Port of Hueneme. Being a native here, growing up in the south side of Oxnard, I made a conscious decision that I wanted to live in Hueneme. This community has been really important to me and very special. And this is my opportunity now after 17 years of being living in this community and being supported by so many people here. This is my chance to give back. And I think that at this time, for election purposes, I'm the right person in the right place at the right time to help guide the city into a more prosperous future, into a more peaceful future, into one that more collaborationist, if you will. We need to stop the arguing and fighting, of course, but we need to find sources of revenue. But it's not just finding the revenue. What's more important is that we learn how to spend it properly, because we haven't been spending the revenues that we have been getting in the best way possible to get the most benefit out of it for the most people. For example, I can tell you, 3 years ago there was an economic impact report done about the port itself. And it was estimated that there were 191 jobs at the port and with port customers, direct jobs, for Port Hueneme residents. Today, 3 years later, that number is now 413.
Wow.
That, by any measurement, is a great thing and something that we need to nurture. We need to grow this relationship. The opportunities are endless if we can work together, if we join together as one community. We're not 2 or 3 different communities, we're one. And working together with others is the key to success for all of us.
No, and I would agree with you, and your experience is just really interesting. And the way I kind of summarize it with your cruise line is you were there to create a positive experience for the people who are coming on the cruise ships. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct.
And so in some ways, now maybe it's not in vote, you have passengers aboard the good ship, City of Port Hueneme, and you're going to create a good experience for their passengers.
And the goal is to create that experience for everyone. And we would tend to focus more on those passengers who weren't having a good time, who weren't succeeding, who weren't getting out of the cruise everything that they could get. The same with the city. I agree with you wholeheartedly. We have to, of course, pay attention to all those citizens that go to work every day and are living here as longtime citizens, but we also have to focus on those who are less well served and those who could use a little more help. And by creating the economic conditions where they can find more jobs, where they can, for example, right now 22 to 23% of all our storefronts are empty in the city right now. We need to create opportunities for small businesses to be able to get up and running. Now, they're not all going to succeed, but I've got an idea, and I've talked to other council members. If we perhaps give them a discount on their business tax for the first 2 or 3 years, maybe 30% first year, 50% your second year, 70% your third year, and by your 4th year, maybe get up to 100% of your business tax, just to give you that little break that you may need to get over the top and succeed. Mm-hmm. Now, I would also add a stipulation, though. You must join the local Chamber of Commerce. By having people join the chamber and getting more bodies, now we get more collaboration. We get more people with maybe ideas that they could inject into a program such as that. So, join the chamber, get a discount on your business tax. After 4 years, if you're still in business, you're up and running, you have full business taxes that you pay now. Obviously, not everybody's going to succeed, so we go out and find more small entrepreneurs. We want to encourage entrepreneurism here in the city. And the millennials today, that's where we have to look for some of this imagination.
I would say they're a very important client upon the ship that you're actually going to be creating this positive experience.
Absolutely.
Now, just with the amount of people that you hang around, who you hang around as your entourage, that's really an important thing. But do you have people in your past or in present that you consider mentors, or people who you say your chemistry actually really works well to make this magic happen in the city of Port Hueneme?
Gosh, not just in Hueneme, but in life.
Okay, and that's what I'm asking.
But in life. And a couple of weeks ago, I was at a birthday party for my high school football coach, Lucianovich.
I was hoping that you would talk about that, so continue on.
What a treat.
Oh, man.
You know, Coach C, he knows all of us still by first name. And when you see, hey, Will, how you doing? You know, how's Mom? And it's really a special relationship. Oh, we are all his children. We are all his sons. And one thing, among many, that Coach C taught us is that everything you get, you deserve. And what you don't deserve, you won't get. And for example, when I got my first Letterman's jacket, very proud moment in your life. You knew the effort and the work and the dedication and the drive that it takes to succeed. And when he gives you that coat, and he would in those days hand you your Letterman's jacket, that's a really special experience. So you knew you now belonged.
I tell you what, thank you for sharing that. Again, this is a wonderful interview, but I could just feel the emotion, the pleasure. I know his son Sam, but I never had a chance to coach Coach C's. But
Sam and I were teammates. We played together, and it's just been it was a wonderful upbringing. So, very important person in my life was Coach C, of course. Mom and Dad, their support. I can remember my dad digging dugouts at Sunset Little League over there at Durley Park.
Wow.
And his commitment to not only my education, but also when I was trying to decide should I go to Taiwan as a student at a Chinese university, Mom and Dad were behind me 100%.
It's a good mentor,
Yes.
so far, but just the legendary of your history of your parents and Coach C. I know for somehow, I'm confident you're going to use those skills. And being a marketing person myself, as a market person, I think you're just really going to bring a lot, because a marketing person is to raise awareness and to what? Get revenues into the organization.
Bringing revenues in.
Strange things happen if revenues don't come in.
And you know, and I can look back at, for example, my dad.
Okay.
He was on the original team that created the Strawberry Festival here
Wow.
in Oxnard back in 1983, 84,
Wow.
when the Oxnard Ambassadors were just getting going, and this festival was held out at Channel Islands Harbor in the parking lot.
Amazing.
And from that beginning, we now have the California Strawberry Festival here. Well, this year was unfortunate here at the city of Hueneme. The city could not afford to hold their annual beach festival. The port, a few weeks later, did hold its banana festival, our 5th annual. And it was a great event. We got more than 10,000 people show up from that one day. But you know, why not a banana beach festival next year? Why not something where we can partner with the city? Let's have the festival back on the beach again. We can still, for example, partner with the school district to get school buses to take people into the port, to see inside the port, take the water tours, etc., but then hold the main festival on the beach, and we can collaborate together. There's win-win scenarios that are endless if the city and the port just want to seek them out.
So one of the things I'd like to say, kind of in wrapping up, is what do you think the audience and the citizens of the city of Port Hueneme, what do you think something you could say that would just give them that, wow,
Well,
I like this guy?
I wish I could. You know, my agenda is ambitious. It's creative, but I'm seeking to transcend barriers. All these barriers between people and between agencies that have slowed progress down. It's not a question of one side winning means the other side loses. Why can't it be a win-win situation for both sides, for everybody here? And there are models for this. And I'm going to work as hard as I can for the city of Port Hueneme that I have for the past 17 years for the Port of Hueneme. And I will commit myself to bringing Hueneme up to the level where it should be again. And ultimately, Peter, our best days are ahead of us.
You know, well-spoken words, and I appreciate that. Is there anything else you'd like to say? I'm excited to be standing here before you. I mean, you have the Sianovich spirit about you. I mean, they say 80-20. I mean, that you have going for you. I could see the passion in your eyes. Again, one former athlete to another, just that energy that you'll bring into it. But did you have anything else you wanted to say before I look at the camera and wrap this up?
Well, I need to make mention of my wife, Becky, because without Becky,
Oh my gosh, I'm almost
as my
forgot.
wife and campaign manager,
Oh my gosh.
and my best friend, this couldn't be happening.
This is quite a man here. So with that, thank you, Wilbur.
Thank you,
Appreciate you. Much success. Godspeed, all the above.
Thank you.
So just wrapping this up, this is Peter Godinez, your ambassador for public sector and community. Until next time.